Hi all, Rob here from way out west. Sure has been a busy June at the club, whereas July will not be so jam-packed due to the Newport Fiddle and Folk Festival and later in July the Echuca Blues Festival. The last gig for this month features the Damon Smith Trio on Sunday the 22nd of June from 2 p.m. Damon is a multi-talented and extremely entertaining performer. I recently saw Damon perform up at Broadbeach and it was a ripper of a show. I've just interviewed Damon and I got to say it was a very informative chat. Sit back and enjoy the interview, and if you've not already done so, please hit the subscribe button. It really does help me out. And as always, my friends, rock on. Yeah. So thanks for joining me today, and we're going to have a chat about the WOW gig coming up on Sunday, June 22nd. Were you a Melbourne boy? Did you grow up in Melbourne, and was music a big part of family life?
Well, I grew up in Perth, Western Australia, and music wasn't really like live music performance wasn't a part of the household thing at all. So it was listening osmosis as far as listening to mum and dad playing 50s rock and roll. That was, that's where I get that from, that sort of style of music. And then she listened to Neil Diamond and
Okay.
singer-songwriter. That's where the singer-songwriter I think came from in me as well, from that sort of music.
Yeah. Well, Neil Diamond, as well as doing what he does, was a great songwriter for other people as well, too, wasn't he?
Wow. I think in those early days, he was extremely, extremely good as a singer, as a songwriter. And unfortunately I mean, he was very flamboyant, even the name Diamond, the string sections, everything that happened in his music after that initial stage.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's why he's not known as a Bob Dylan or anything, but he's
Yeah.
equally
And,
as good in many
and,
ways.
and Glenn Campbell was another one that sort of started off as that songwriter. Willie Nelson, all those guys.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what came first for you, mate?
Alert from
The piano or
reminders.
the
I
guitar?
have a meeting.
Um, I don't know why my computer's talking. Did you hear that?
Yeah, you have a meeting, so yeah, that knows everything about you.
Alert, you have a meeting with a very nice person at 10 o'clock who will have a boat in the background. Um,
Yeah.
Piano or guitar? I think guitar, my sister's guitar, I used to take out of her bedroom and play. Um, so yeah, definitely the guitar, but the piano, both at the same time in many ways. It was this sort of autodidactic way of just going up and playing. I would hear something on the radio and then go and play it. Um, So yeah, I think they both really came at the same time.
Yeah. And
But
did you?
but totally yeah, a self-taught sort of way at that point.
Yeah, it was going to be my question. Did you study formally anywhere, or it's all self-taught?
I am self-taught, so there was no formal training. However, saying that after shows when people come up, they're always amazed, and there's nothing really. You can look at it a few different ways. It's great that whichever way we learn. So I've learned that I just can't learn by looking at textbooks. Whether it's the fact that I have ADHD or whether it's just a human thing to do with me. My learning style is, as I said, osmosis and listening. Inspiration is what it's all about.
Now, you're a multi-award winning composer, you're a lyricist, music producer, writer, instrumentalist. I'm going to go through some of your achievements because it just
Oh,
blows me away, the stuff that you've done.
thank you.
You've performed everywhere. You've written jingles, songs, composed music for ballet. Tell us about the ballet. That's very interesting.
Oh, the ballet came about. This is the thing, isn't it? On paper, things often look really amazing, but then when you extrapolate, you go, "Oh, okay, there's the connection." That connection was a piano student of mine who wanted to learn boogie woogie and stuff, and she was a ballet instructor and choreographed, and so she really liked something I was playing at one point, which was a not a boogie woogie thing, a more musical piece. And she said, I really want you to do the music for this thing. It's going to be shown here. And it was shown at the clock tower. It was completely packed out and it was incredible. Like she's given me the DVD as well. And it's quite amazing. Yeah, this 24-minute, I think, piece, and then there was a visual element that we did at the end, which was a little tiny little bit of filmmaking. So that's practically how it happened, and it opened the floodgates for some other stuff. And ABC Classic in Sydney really liked it, so they played it, and then I released an instrumental record not that long after that. So.
Yeah, incredible. And when you mentioned the ABC, I believe you did some TV music as well. Can you let us know about that?
Yeah, I've done quite a lot of music for TV and different things, whether it's someone else taking it and syncing, as they say, and handing over the rights, or some things I've written for TV. Um, but yeah, so mainly the Mental is Everything music from that was used in ABC, and of course they used Vision from that as well. ABC at one point, TV wanted to take the Mental is Everything film and put it on. As a feature film and on their whatever they call it there, the when you can go on and stream,
Mm,
like SBS Demand,
mm,
ABC iView.
mm,
Um, but SBS had already said yes to the film, so it was really interesting that this person who had never had in me, who had never had any experience with either making a film, distributing a film, or dealing with people, how do you get it out there?
mm,
Suddenly, ABC and SBS, I wouldn't say it's a bidding war,
mm.
but they both were going to put it up. And in the end, ABC saw it as a bit of a conflict of interest because SBS I'd signed the contract.
Mm.
But that's pretty cool, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah. That was going to be one of my later questions, but let's come back to Mental as Everything, which is a great name, having seen that other Mental as Anything a few times, who
Yeah.
played at the RSL actually at Way Out West. Tell us about that film. How did that come about?
Well, spending a lot of time in the tour van, in groups, mainly Sun Rising, which is the Sun Records tribute band I do, that I co-wrote and co-produced with David Cosma. So that we spend a lot of time on the road with that and other bands. So we talk a lot about stuff, and I'm very transparent about my mental health and how it affects me and others. And Adam Code, who is the drummer in that band and a great friend, he was the same. We're always talking about this stuff. So I thought, why not I'll do a show. And so I wrote this idea of Mental as Everything, not really a takeoff of Mental as Anything at all, but it had to have a name that was going to have instant appeal. And then a producer in Adelaide that I worked with on a big production over there where I worked as the lyricist, he just loved the idea. And so, yeah, he produced it and we did all sorts of incredible live shows. And then during COVID, RAV, Regional Arts Victoria, had organized to put the show on the road, but it was closed down due to the lockdowns, shut down. And then, of course, they said, we'd like you to do something visual with it. And there was some money that came through, which was incredible, from Rise, I think, through Creative Victoria. And I didn't even have to apply for this grant. It was just handed to us, the perks of a COVID lockdown. And then I said, well, I don't want to just go into a theater and film it. We've done that before. I'd like to make a film because I've been making little films for years. So that's how it happened.
Cool. And what was I going to say there? You've also produced several albums for artists. Can you let us know some of the artists that you've produced?
Yeah, well, going way, way, way back, there's people you probably never ever heard of. But one of the things that I did probably around 2011 and 12 is I worked with people that are about my age now, mid 40s, mid 50s, who had wanted to work their songs and get them onto a record. So Pete Bowden, who's I would say a well-known singer-songwriter in Castlemaine now, I worked on two of his records, and geez, there's a lot, but I can't remember all of them. But there's a lot of people like him that are sort of, I guess, people that had full-time careers. That's where I wanted to not only produce and record them, but sort of assist in the songwriting and the craft. So yeah, a lot of people like that.
Castlemaine's a thriving artistic area. I know Broderick Smith lived up there for a while, and you can't get much better the singer-songwriter than him.
Who's that?
Broderick Smith.
Oh, wow. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he lived up there for quite
Incredible.
some time. Um, you also do some work with Ezra Lee, who's been at Way Out West, like a dueling piano stuff. That must be a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. And it's funny because I've got Ezra Lee coming over this afternoon with Henry Herbert, the American, well, the English guy.
Mhm.
We just did the three piano thing at Mimo last
Yeah,
week.
yeah,
Um, it is a lot of fun. I really enjoy my time with Ezra. He's a really different sort of
mm,
a cat, as
yeah,
he would say. I really like him, and he likes doing things in a more old-fashioned, traditional way.
mm,
And he's a very good guy to have, you know, on your side, and a great player. When it comes to that sort of music,
yeah,
he's the person.
yeah. He lives that lifestyle, doesn't he? He's totally absorbed in that, even to the way he looks.
Absolutely, and and it's interesting because I do an interview series as well, and that's why what we're doing today with Henry is I'm gonna be interviewing him. Um, and one of the things I've laid out, just quickly, a question there for Henry is the idea that if you go on and listen to Ezra and Henry on Spotify as an example, the top songs that are streamed
Mm,
will have there's a left hand which is a boogie pattern, and there's a lot of that going on.
mm,
And the thing is that I want to find out because I play that stuff as well. I do other things.
mm,
When you hear that, you go, what else? What else happens?
mm,
Is there more depth to their piano playing? And the answer, of course, is yes. I
mm,
mean, Henry played the most incredible version of Hymn to Freedom the other day, which is one of my favorite songs on piano, Oscar Peterson's version.
mm,
And Ezra's the same.
mm,
Ezra plays the rock and roll stuff, and just when you think, and I think he'd understand, I mean this in the greatest way, just when you think, well, that's him, he's the rock and roll guy,
mm,
he'll play ragtime or he'll play, something very, very different.
mm,
And it's pretty cool.
mm. That reminds me of the New Orleans professor James Booker.
Oh,
Uh,
gosh.
yeah, man, you never, he'd go into some incredible areas of music, that guy.
The greatest blind, drunk, black,
Yeah,
gay, junkie piano player that ever existed,
yeah,
said Dr. John.
yeah. And Dr. John, of course. Is there some of the older guys you like too? Like, love going back, listening to some of those. I love Memphis Slim too, but that's a
Love
bluesy type.
Memphis Slim. And Willie Dixon, of course, worked a
Yeah,
lot with him, I think, as a
yeah,
bass player.
yeah,
We owe so much to Willie Dixon
yeah.
for the idea of how pop music is, blues music is today and everything.
Mm,
But yeah, I do. James Booker's,
mm,
I love James Booker.
yeah.
And he's seriously a master. There's no best or greatest, in my opinion, when it comes
Yeah,
to music, but there are masters.
yeah.
And he would be a master. Oscar Peterson is a master. Keith Jarrett is a master in that jazz
Mm.
world.
What
Yeah,
about someone like way back, like a Jelly Roll Morton or someone like that?
incredible. What he can do, people still can't do on a piano.
Mm,
So yeah, and then when you go way back with the boogie thing,
mm,
I do a piano show, Crazy Arms, where we talk about
mm,
boogie and where that came from.
mm,
I mean, that really is the cornerstone of pop music
mm,
in many ways.
mm,
You
mm,
can argue that with someone, but I really believe it is.
mm,
And yet, boogie music, boogie woogie is seen as sort of flippant and playful
mm,
to the jazzers,
mm,
not to mention the classic
mm,
world. And it's a shame
mm,
because the boogie stuff is some pretty hardcore
mm,
stuff. It's
mm,
it's hard to play.
mm. Let's circle back to the songs that made Memphis. Tell us something about that, and also Crazy Arms, a few centuries of piano tinkering. I'd like to hear a bit about that.
Yeah, well, that's the one where I would walk out and I mean, it started. It's really good where that show is now, but it's been many years of trying to get it right.
Mm,
It's starting right at the beginning,
mm,
1708.
mm,
Um, and yeah, Bartolomeo Cristofori, I think his name is. I haven't done the show for a while.
mm,
So he invented the piano, an
mm.
Italian. I often say he's an Irish man, and people are like, "What? That sounds like an Italian name." That's of course the joke. But
Yeah.
he invented the piano, and so I talk about him and why he did that and why it came from the harpsichord. Um, so yeah, people learn why the piano was invented, why it's called piano forte, which is
mm,
because it's dynamic, it's
mm,
loud when
mm,
you hit it loud, and it's soft,
mm,
which gives it its incredible
mm,
everything that we know today. The
mm,
harpsichord wasn't, it was all the same volume.
mm,
Um, so I go through, I play a little bit of classical music. It's all comic sort of
mm,
things. So I play some a Mozart piece and then go into a ragtime piece. There's a bit of Winnie Atwell. There's a Liberace thing where I talk about him, how he was the most butch,
mm,
full-on um, man in the world. And yeah, it ends up with some Jerry Lee Lewis and some Little Richard and Ray Charles.
mm,
And funnily enough, I don't go into Elton John or anything. I never explored that music myself.
mm,
But that's Crazy Arms, and we've had some really amazing shows with that one.
mm. No, that sounds interesting. My
Mhm.
little Richard story is when we had tickets to see him at Festival Hall, and he bloody discovered God in Sydney and threw his rings off the bridge and cancelled the concert. Never got to see him.
Oh my
I
gosh.
didn't discover God, went back to God.
Yeah.
We recently seen you play up at Broadbeach at the Den Devon, I think it is. It was fantastic. A solo show, very entertaining. But you took a big risk asking for a drummer to come out, and this guy's just played fantastic. It was like, you
Yeah.
know, do you do that often? That's a bit scary, isn't it?
I don't do that often, but I understand, like I am better when the focus is sometimes off myself,
Mm,
particularly solo.
yep.
And I have struggled, hence the mental is everything
Mm,
show. You know, I should have said before when asked about that, the reason for doing that is because of my own anxieties and living with OCD,
mm,
and I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which I don't think is prevalent now. But anyway, that's what happens with people with mental disorders.
mm,
Always exploring why we are the way we are.
mm,
And so live, it's very challenging for me. I take propranolol, which is a
mm,
beta blocker, which
mm,
calms me.
mm,
And so sometimes I put the focus on other things.
mm,
That's why sometimes, as you might have noticed, I'll say, and this man has a beard, ladies and gentlemen.
mm,
I just really need to shift sometimes.
mm,
Um, and it's a magic show, music is.
mm,
And I think to answer your question properly,
mm,
getting a drummer up there, the way that he was acting and the way his wife or partner was acting when she said he can really play,
mm,
I knew straight away that he could play.
mm,
There's a difference. There's just a, you just know.
mm,
It's like boxers
mm,
or fighters or sports people. Sometimes they look at their opponent and they just know
mm.
that they're going to annihilate them,
Yeah, yeah,
or that team's going to win. There's an
yeah,
energy to it,
mm,
and I knew that he was going to be really good.
mm,
I don't really know why,
mm.
but it was absolutely fabulous. It was
Yeah,
amazing. So
yeah,
much fun.
it was amazing. It was just, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a wow thing. Now, without going into great detail, I think you got pretty crook on the way home, didn't you? I've read about
The
Did you have
sickest I've ever
some
been.
dodgy prawns or something?
I think in the end it was a gastro because
Mm,
it took me three
yeah.
years, weeks to get over that. Only just recently I've started to feel better. And yeah, I have never been that sick. I've never had gastro. Yeah, I mean, you probably read my Facebook
Yeah,
post. But it was very easy to sort of filter that into a comic
yeah, yeah,
stand sketch. But I had to cancel the last gig.
yeah,
But yeah, it was bloody awful.
yeah, yeah. I'll see if I can find that Facebook post and I'll put it up because it is a great read.
Yeah, yeah.
Your last two albums, and I have both of them. I seen you play at Open for Pepper Creek Revival, and I was sitting there and saying, this guy has to come to Way Out West. And we spoke about, or you spoke about a fresh harvest from old seeds and skeletons, skeletons, skeletons.
Yeah.
Both topped the Australian Blues Roots charts, nominated for music awards, and you knocked over the Teskey brothers in 2023. That must have blown you away.
That's true. It's nice to hear someone else say that because
Yeah.
that's something that I often think about
Mm.
in my exploration, which my interview channel I was talking about is all about that. I'd love to have you on there actually at some point.
Oh,
I
thank you.
explore why we do what we do and all the weirdness that goes on. Like being in the music industry, it has its challenges, big time.
Mm.
And I'm so used to pain now because I've existed in it for so
Yeah.
long. It's full of rejection.
mm,
It's full of love and beautiful moments like the ones we saw in
mm,
Broadbeach. It's a challenge, and to
mm,
do it full time, because we can make so much money,
yeah,
that's further challenging.
yeah,
So when the
mm,
Teskey Brothers thing happened, that was a beautiful moment for me because it meant that things were getting judged on listening
mm,
and merit.
mm,
And it's not that the Teskey Brothers didn't have again a better
mm,
or whatever album. The
mm,
people that judged it, the five judges, they just thought that my record was good.
mm,
And if you want to use the word better, then great. It's a
yeah,
competition, I guess.
mm,
But it was mind blowing to think that they then went on to win the ARIA
mm,
National Award with the same record that silly old Damon Smith
mm,
beat them
mm,
in the Melbourne one.
mm.
That to me
Excuse me.
that's a conundrum
Yes,
if you
yes,
think about it.
yeah,
So, I mean, I probably will never achieve slash enjoy the success
mm,
that they have and the popularity. Um, and as a musician,
mm,
we pretend sometimes that we don't want that, but
mm,
really, I want my music to be heard as many people as
mm,
possible. Um, it's what I do, and
mm,
so to have that was really cool. So it's
mm,
nice to hear you say it
yeah,
because I sometimes wonder, do I need to put that in my presser? The record that
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
beat the Teskey Brothers. I mean, they're
yeah.
an incredible band
Oh,
and
yes, yes, yeah,
incredible music. The world has responded correctly to their music.
yeah, yeah. Interesting. Last time I seen the Teskey Brothers was at Echuca Blues Festival and playing there, and I thought, geez, that'd be a good band to get way out west. And 2 weeks later, they're playing in America in front of 5,000 people. Like, how did that happen?
It is amazing how things happen.
Yeah.
And when it comes to festivals and stuff, that's the other thing is, my little core group of friends
Mm,
and peers, we do have we whinge and we complain and we show love and we do all these things when it comes to music and
mm,
festivals. And festivals are hard trying to
mm,
get on them. And
mm,
that's the thing. Teskey Brothers will be on that, but then they're not on another festival. And
mm.
I'm on Port Fairy last year, but then I can't get. I mean, I haven't been on a Chuka Blues, for an example. Uh,
Well, we'll rectify that, mate. I'll be up there, bloody going into bat for you. Don't you
well,
worry.
it's not from lack of trying, and
Yeah.
it's also got nothing to do with anyone on the other side, the
Yeah.
receiving end of the
Yeah.
applications, having it in for bands. Like I totally understand it.
Mm,
What it is that we need to do sort of less complaining about
mm,
why can't I get this festival and
mm,
why can't I get that, and just work on the brand
mm,
because it's that sort of if you build it, they will come.
mm, mm.
Kevin
Yeah.
Costner thing. I
Yeah.
really do think that once you're at a level where more and more people know who you are, and I've seen that with me. I'm nowhere near a household name, but I'm seeing more people come to my gigs
Mm,
because they've heard me play somewhere else or
mm,
someone has said go and watch him. So
mm.
I think yeah, I know what I need to do. Just keep playing live.
Yeah. Now let's go back to the gig way out west, June the 20, excuse me, June the 22nd, which is my brother's birthday, so I'll be dragging him along.
Oh, good.
I might pay for his ticket. That's the present. You're playing with the trio, I
Yeah.
believe. Can you tell us about who else is playing with you?
Phil Collins always gets a laugh. Not Collins, but Phil Collins.
Yeah.
He's currently playing drums in the trio. He's a jazzer, an incredibly talented guy. And so he joins me along with Trent McKenzie, who's the upright bass player. And Trent's been, almost my right-hand man musically live for a while now. He's in the Sun Records show. Actually, Phil is in the Sun Records show now as well, along with Adrian White and David Cosman and Lisa Mamur. But yeah, those two will be with me, and yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. I mean, doing the solo show at Broadbeach, there's so much you can't do. So you really, I would have loved to have my band there. So hence probably trying to hunt a drummer
Yeah.
out of the stage,
Yeah.
out of the audience. But yeah,
And
I can't wait to play your venue.
yeah, no, we're looking forward to it, mate. And what does a Damon Smith set look like? What can we expect?
As you can probably tell, I do like to talk.
That's good. We like to listen.
Yeah, like it definitely doesn't come from an ego thing. I feel like I'm feeling very positive these last 5 or 6 years. And so when it comes to music and listening and playing, I just get so excited. And yeah, often I talk more than I play. Um, and you can probably expect sometimes for me to even stop a song halfway through and have a discussion with someone in the audience. But yeah, I like that interactive nature of it. I think um, it happens naturally. Nothing's forced. I really don't think I've had a rehearsal with Phil and Trent as far as a rehearsal room. So, yes, we play a lot live, but most people will want to go in and rehearse their music. I don't think, and it's not because a lot of it is, 3 or 4 chord blues music. A lot of the stuff is actually some of the songs are complex. But I really like that improv nature and, that you can get at a gig.
Yeah.
That's why Phil and Trent are so good because they trust me and I trust them.
Let's. I was just thinking while we were talking about other piano players. One of my favourite Australian piano players, and he's gone. Well, keyboard players is Andy Cowan.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, Andy's played at our club a number of times, and he's up north. The first time I seen Andy play was, I don't know, 20 years ago up at Byron Bay, and he
Right.
was playing, and I thought, my God, this guy's he should, I feel like he should be on the main stage in New Orleans at Jazz Fest,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
incredible, incredible player.
absolutely. There's Pugsley Buzzard was bloody
Oh,
good as well.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Pugsley played many, many years ago. Excuse me. My Pugsley Buzzard thing, I was walking through the French Quarter, going down to Frenchman Street, and I heard this guy playing. As I was getting closer to the venue, I go, I know that's Pugsley Buzzard. I go in there, he's sitting up on the piano, and I couldn't believe
just,
it. Yeah,
he sounds like New Orleans, and
yes, yes, yeah.
we're able to identify that it was him channeling New Orleans music while
Yeah.
in New Orleans. That's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah, yeah, it was amazing, and I'm sure he's the long lost son of Tom, yeah, Tom Waits as well.
Yeah, I reckon New Orleans is incredible, isn't it? I
Yeah,
remember seeing the museum where they've got the flood museum, as it were,
yes,
and they have Fats Domino's piano
yes,
hanging up there.
yeah,
Wow. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, that was
yeah,
incredible seeing that.
yeah, yeah. No, I believe it's. I was going to encourage everyone to have a look at your website too, because it's a fantastic website. It's so much information there, and it can see how many albums that you have actually released. So it's yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations to whoever did that.
I actually haven't said this to anyone apart from a few friends, but I have a record coming out tomorrow as
Oh,
well,
beautiful. Yeah.
which will be Friday the 13th of June. But it's yeah, I have a piano in my kitchen,
Mm.
which is behind this section, and whenever people come over, a lot of my friends will play it,
Mm.
and I'll play it. And when my family come from Perth,
Mm.
I've just improvised music, mainly classical style,
Mm.
not so much
Mm.
blues, over conversations, arguments, kids
Yeah.
asking questions, and I'll talk to them while I'm playing. And I've turned it all into a record,
Yeah.
and I think it's my proudest release
Oh,
because,
wow. Yeah.
yeah, listening to it, I don't remember playing that music.
Mm.
And so it happened and it's done. It's like what I was saying before. It's unrehearsed and live and in the moment. And
Yeah.
yeah, can't wait to put the post up tomorrow and say that it's out.
Oh, so we're breaking news. I'll put the banner breaking news down along the thing there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost in Keith Jarrett's Colin territory as far
Yeah.
as simplistic melodic piano
Yeah.
playing. As I
Yeah.
say, not a lot. There is a little bit of stride that comes in. It's all dependent on what happened in the
Yeah.
room.
It's interesting when you mention blues music. We way out west when we started all those years ago, 25 years, we decided not to call ourselves Way Out West Blues Club. It was Way Out West Roots Music Club because as much as I love the blues, I love all sorts of music. So we wanted to encompass that as well, because blues people can be pretty anal sometimes when it comes to their music. So yeah, we didn't want to tie ourselves down.
I
Although
like,
having
I
said
like
that, blues is my favorite. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Someone told me that there's no such thing as bad music; it's just badly played music. So
Yeah, well, that's pretty much it. And
yeah,
also subjectivity is the thing here. So
yeah, yeah,
um some music sounds awful to us. I mean, my favorite, my inspiration, my favorite of all time would be Frank Zappa.
Uh,
And
yeah,
I don't necessarily make music that sounds like Frank.
yeah,
Sometimes there's a nod to that.
mm,
My wife and a lot of people can't stand his music. They
yeah.
think it's just
Well,
awful.
my vice president, Terry Smith, is a huge Zappa fan. I've got a lot of his music. Well, and so not that it's a funny story. He had his house broken into, and a lot of his LPs were stolen.
Right.
And a lot of Frank Zappa was stolen, and the insurance company gave him a Sanity Records voucher. He thought, where the fuck am I going to find a Frank Zappa album at Sanity Records?
Yeah.
I
I thought you were going to say that the criminals, the robbers came in and they left the Frank Zappa.
left the Frank Zappa.
I
That's
can imagine that happening.
right. Oh my God. All right. Fantastic talking to you, mate. I just, yeah, really, really nice to get an insight. And thank you for being so open about your mental health
Ah,
struggles.
no
Uh,
problem at all.
yeah,
I think the more that we talk about it, we talk about physical, a broken arm or
yeah,
something with ease.
yeah,
Why can't we, do the
yeah,
same with our mental health? That we
yeah,
can work towards it at least.
yeah. Fantastic. Good luck with the new album. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks for taking the time to have a chat and
Thank you.
fantastic, mate.
Can't wait to come down. It's going to be brilliant.
All the best.
Thank you, mate.
No.